Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that, well, at first blush might sound incredibly specific.
Yeah.
The global iodate salt market.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly scream headline news, does it?
Huh, no. But trust me, understanding the dynamics of something as fundamental as iodate salt actually gives us a fascinating lens,
It really does.
into global economic shifts, public health trends, consumer behavior.
Mm.
It's all in there.
And it's not just, like, table salt we're talking about. This is crucial stuff for preventing iodine deficiency disorders.
Exactly.
Right.
Which has huge impacts, right? Cognitive development, public health across the globe. It's fundamental.
What's truly compelling here, I think, is how this essential commodity translates into a measurable, dynamic, and growing global market.
Right.
It's a vital sector with really broad implications. And to guide us, we're drawing from a pretty comprehensive market report.
Yeah, this one's from Cognitive Market Research. It gives a detailed forecast looking at trends all the way out to 2033.
So a good long-term view.
Absolutely. So our mission today, for you listening, is to distill the most important insights from this extensive report.
Get to the core of it.
Yeah, we want to understand not just where the growth is happening, but maybe what's driving it, what the numbers signify for different regions.
Again, why these shifts ultimately matter.
Exactly. So let's start big picture. Global outlook for iodate salt. What are we looking at?
Well, the report puts the market value back in 2021 at $7,819.58 million. Pretty substantial.
Okay, almost $8 billion.
Yeah. And the projections show it climbing. It's expected to hit $8,753.6 million by 2025.
So decent growth in the short term.
And then it keeps going, reaching a substantial $10,769.6 million by 2033.
Over $10 billion.
Which reflects a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 2.861% over this whole forecast period.
2.86%. So not explosive maybe, but steady.
Exactly. That overall growth rate, while it might seem moderate, under 3% annually,
Yeah.
it actually represents a really significant and kind of foundational expansion for a commodity like iodate salt.
Right, because it's essential.
It indicates steady underlying demand. It's driven by necessity, by health initiatives, and that makes it a remarkably resilient market.
Less volatile than some others, perhaps?
Precisely. Not subject to those wild swings you see elsewhere.
Okay, so a stable, growing market globally. But let's peel back those layers. Where are the real hot spots? What does the report tell us about the regions really, powering this growth?
Right. Well, without question, the Asia-Pacific region really emerges as the dominant growth engine here.
Okay. Asia Pacific.
It commands the highest regional CAGR, a pretty robust 3.382%.
Wow, 3.38%. That's noticeably higher than the global average we just mentioned.
It is. It's a clear lead, signaling a particularly dynamic environment over there.
Okay, so let's really unpack Asia Pacific then. What's happening? The market there alone was valued at, what, $3,440.62 million in 2021.
That's right. And projected to leap to over $5.1 billion, specifically $5,122.83 million by 2033.
Huge numbers. And within that massive region, the report points out a couple of powerhouses, right? China and India.
Absolutely. China leads in just sheer market size. It's forecast to reach $1,462.57 million by 2033.
Right.
And that's growing at a solid 3.588% CAGR. So strong and big.
Strong and big for China. But India's story is slightly different.
Yeah.
It's showing the fastest growth.
India's growth truly stands out, yeah. It boasts a phenomenal 4.203% CAGR.
4.2%.
I know. It means it's projected to grow from just over $485 million back in 2021 to nearly $794 million by 2033.
It's a significant jump. What's driving that acceleration in India specifically?
Well, the report attributes a lot of it not just to the vast population, obviously,
Right.
but specifically to highly effective government campaigns promoting iodized salt, plus rising consumer awareness.
The public health angle again.
Exactly. Driven by public health education initiatives. It's like a textbook example of how policy and awareness can directly fuel market expansion for essential goods.
On a massive scale.
On a massive scale, yeah.
That's fascinating. Okay, so China and India are the giants. What about beyond them? What other trends are we seeing across Asia-Pacific?
We see pretty robust, if maybe more modest, growth across other key nations, too. Japan, for instance, maintains a steady 2.71% CAGR, still growing.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Singapore actually stands out with stronger growth, 3.68% annually.
Oh, interesting for a smaller market.
It is, yeah. Indicates notable performance. And then the broader Southeast Asia region is, well, particularly impressive.
How so?
Collectively, that whole area is showing a 3.954% CAGR.
Wow, almost 4%.
Yeah, demonstrating widespread regional expansion. And you've got others like Taiwan contributing steadily too, with a 3.136% CGR.
So it's not just one or two countries, it's a broad regional trend.
It really is. This collective performance just underscores the region's overall economic vitality and, crucially, that growing focus on public health.
So if we connect this back to the bigger picture, these high growth rates in APAC, especially in populous countries like India, China, Southeast Asia, what does that really signify?
Well, it points to a couple of critical things, I think. Evolving consumer demand, obviously, driven by population growth, rapid urbanization.
More people, more cities.
Right. And an increasing awareness of the health benefits of iodized salt.
So it's not just selling more salt, it's a reflection of these big public health efforts.
Exactly. Concerted efforts to tackle major public health challenges on a huge scale.
That's a really powerful picture of growth in those economies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears. What about the more, let's say, mature markets? North America, Europe.
Right.
Are we seeing a different kind of story playing out there? Maybe more about, maintenance and stability rather than that explosive expansion.
Precisely. That's a good way to put it. In North America, we definitely see a more established market.
Okay.
It recorded 1,759.41 million in 2021, projected to reach about 2,259.75 million by 2033.
Still growing then.
Still growing, yeah, reflecting a consistent CAGR of 2.106%.
Okay, so lower than Asia Pacific, but still positive.
Definitely positive. Within North America, the U.S. holds the largest share, naturally. It's growing at about 1.99% CAGR.
Just under 2%.
Yeah. So the trajectory is substantial in absolute dollar terms, but the growth rate is more characteristic of a mature market.
Makes sense.
Interestingly, though, Canada actually shows a stronger growth rate within the region. It's at 2.703% CAGR.
Oh, higher than the U.S. rate.
Yeah. And Mexico also contributes steadily with a 2.326% CAGR. So overall, stable, significant contributions, just without that steep upward curve we saw in APAC.
Right, a stable, less explosive trajectory for developed economies. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. How does Europe stack up? Similar story.
Broadly similar, yes, but with some interesting nuances within the region. Europe's market stood at $1,470.08 million in 2021.
Okay.
And it's projected to reach $1,930.66 million by 2033. That gives it a CGR of 2.361%.
So slightly higher than North America's overall rate, but still in that mature market range.
Exactly. But what's particularly noteworthy here is the contrast within Europe. Germany, for instance, exhibits the highest CDR in the region. It's at 3.076%.
Over 3%. That's quite robust for a developed European market, isn't it?
It really is. Suggests strong underlying demand, maybe specific fortification policies working well there.
Interesting. But you said contrast, so who's at the other end?
Well, Russia shows the slowest growth, a CGR of only 0.629%.
Wow, 0.6%. That's a huge difference compared to Germany's 3%.
It's a massive disparity, isn't it? Almost 5 times slower growth.
What could possibly explain such varied growth rates within one continent like Europe?
Yeah, this raises an important question, and the report hints at several potential factors. For Russia's slower growth, it could be, a mix of things.
Like?
Evolving dietary habits, perhaps less emphasis now on iodization programs, maybe even broader geopolitical and economic factors impacting consumer behavior or imports.
Okay, lots of possibilities.
Conversely, Germany's stronger performance might be linked to really consistent public health messaging over the years. Strong regulatory frameworks for iodine fortification, maybe even specific industrial uses, keeping demand high.
So it really highlights how those bigger macro-level factors filter down into these granular market performance numbers.
Absolutely. And just to round out Europe, other notable contributors include the UK, growing at 2.707% CAGR.
Okay, solid.
Spain also showing solid growth, 2.62% CAGR. France, a bit more modest at 1.879%.
Got it. So a real mix across Europe.
Real mix, yeah.
That's a great point, though, about these numbers reflecting broader trends and policies. Okay, let's shift focus one more time. South America, the Middle East, and Africa. The report highlights their consistent, maybe more moderate growth in the global picture.
Absolutely. Let's start with South America. The iodate salt market there was valued at $492.634 million in 2021.
Okay.
And it's expected to reach $715.44 million by 2033. That's a respectable CAGR of 3.144%.
Oh, over 3%. That's actually quite healthy, nudging closer to the Asia-Pacific average.
It is healthy, yeah. And within the region, Argentina shows particularly notable growth, 3.635% CAGR.
Wow.
Brazil, being the largest market there, also contributes substantially with a 3.016% CAGR, and Chile is another strong performer, growing at 3.411% annually.
So it indicates pretty healthy ongoing market expansion across South America.
Yeah, likely driven by similar factors we discussed for Asia-Pacific population growth, increasing health awareness, maybe improving economic conditions in some areas.
Okay, a solid growth trajectory there.
Yeah.
What about the Middle East? What does that picture look like?
The Middle East market accounted for $367.521 million in 2021.
Right.
And it's set to grow to $528.408 million by 2033. That gives it a solid CGR of 3.055%.
Again, right around that 3% mark.
Consistent.
Very consistent. And we see some particularly strong growth spots within the region, too. The UAE, for instance, shows robust expansion at 3.658% CGR.
Sure.
Turkey also demonstrates strong growth, 3.361% CAGR. And Saudi Arabia leads as the largest market, growing steadily at 3.158%.
So what does it suggest? A combination of population growth and maybe increasing prosperity driving demand? That seems likely, yeah. Greater demand for fortified products often comes with economic development and a growing middle class.
Makes sense. Okay, that's a picture of consistent expansion there. Finally, let's look at Africa.
Right. Africa's iodate salt market recorded $289.325 million back in 2021.
Smaller base to start from compared to other regions.
Definitely smaller. And it's expected to reach $412.568 million by 2033. The CGR there is 2.478%.
Okay, so a bit lower than South America and the Middle East, closer to the North American rate, maybe.
Overall, yes. But again, there are standout countries. South Africa makes a significant contribution and shows strong growth at 3.112% CAGR.
Oh, well above the regional average then.
Yeah. And Nigeria is also a key player, growing at 2.71% CAGR.
So even if the overall regional rate is a bit lower, these individual country performances are strong.
They are, highlighting, targeted efforts maybe, and certainly growing health needs and awareness across parts of the continent.
So when we look at these three regions together, South America, Middle East, Africa, what's the takeaway?
I think the main takeaway is that they collectively contribute really steadily to the global market.
Right. Consistent performers.
Yeah, and several countries within them are showing robust individual growth trajectories. It clearly indicates ongoing market expansion.
Driven by those similar factors, population, economies, and that crucial awareness and implementation of health benefits from iodized salt.
Exactly. Especially important in developing economies. They are becoming increasingly significant players on the global stage for this vital commodity.
This has been a really comprehensive deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of numbers.
We have.
So just to reiterate the overall conclusion from this cognitive market research report, the global iodate salt market shows steady but moderate growth.
Yeah, no huge speculative bubbles here.
No, it's underpinned by fundamental needs, isn't it? Health, nutrition, food processing, which in a way makes its consistent expansion all the more interesting to watch.
And it really does drive home that clear trend of Asia-Pacific leading the charge.
Definitely.
Particularly India and China with those high growth rates and really impactful drivers like population and health initiatives.
And that stands in contrast, as you said, to the slower yet stable trends in the more mature markets, Europe and North America.
Right. While South America, the Middle East, and Africa offer those consistent, significant contributions to the overall expansion.
So each region tells a slightly different story.
Shaped by unique demographic, economic, public health landscapes,
Mm-hmm.
but all pointing towards a sustained growing demand for iodate salt globally.
Exactly. So for you, our listener, thinking about all this, what insights can you draw from this detailed snapshot? It really is a powerful microcosm, isn't it?
It is a microcosm of global development, health initiatives, economic shifts, all wrapped up in this one commodity.
Yeah.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Given these very granular, regional, even country-specific projections, what subtle shifts might this imply for global consumer habits down the line, or for health initiatives, or even economic development strategies in these really diverse parts of the world?
That's a great question.
It makes you consider how something as seemingly simple as salt can be so deeply intertwined with these huge, complex, global narratives.
Influencing everything from individual well-being right up to national economic resilience.
Exactly. Something to mull over.